The pity system, wish crystal, whatever this is going to be a new system that's put into game. A lot of very interesting things around it. If you know other games, like Genshin Impact is actually one of them, and I'm sorry we're mentioning other games, but it's always relevant to kind of like put into the situation. Their particular pity system was that the pity system in Genshin Impact essentially ensures that you receive certain ranks of characters after wishing a certain number of times. Pity can be tracked by clicking the history button on the wish page, blah, blah, blah. Like, different game, okay? There's a lot of questions that I think a lot of people have about this system. I think number one, well, people have been spending their units on crystals for years. Why is something changed now? The pity system for Genshin Impact wasn't put in, and it was 2021 when that was in, and obviously we're in 2025 now. Why hasn't this been something Kabam have considered earlier? Well, money. You know, that's one thing. Number two, Kabam crashed. Wasn't actually starting with the company since I think it's 2021. So effectively for years prior to that, there's going to be stuff, innovations, improvements in the mobile game industry and also in gaming in general that maybe Kabam just weren't really up for doing, or hadn't had the tech, haven't looked into it, and weren't really kind of like in tune with audiences. I don't know. Like there's a lot to unpack with it. Is it good that it's in now? Yes. Should it have been put in years ago? Of course it has. We'll look a bit more into the system in a minute, but there's been some really cool responses, I think, from you guys. There's here feedback on the Premium Crystal Parade test. Hey there, summoners, saw it on live stream. We want to get your initial feedback as well as your thoughts on the Premium Crystal Parade when it rolls out. I don't know when this is actually launching. Is it launching next week? Don't know. But if it does, then, or it's coming up, well, at least we can have a look into it. So some good points here. We'll read this point here. The days of don't buy premium hero crystals from units still apply on these crystals. Nice to have, but not chase. Now there will be a reason to buy some. Yep. And you don't have to. Like, it's not, this isn't a, like, you have to buy. It's like, it just soothes the blow of the amount of units people spend to get. A good example is, Corey, hi Corey if you're watching this by the way, spent a load of units to get a 7-star Spiral when Spiral was released. One of his favourite characters, and the same thing with a lot of people. If your favourite character comes out in game, you're like, I want to spend a load of units to try and get the champion from crystals. If you do that and you find yourself not getting the champion, you're pissed off. And this will hopefully kind of just calm the pain that comes with it. But this is a good point here. Well, to be honest, this is something we asked for ages ago, but I think at the moment it's too outdated as a tactic since we need 500% more units for all these special events dropping every few months than 5 years ago. That's a relevant point with stuff like Omega Days, with stuff like Cyber Weekend, with Banquet event, with other types of little mini events that appear from time to time. And what will probably be this Valentine's sales, if there is a unit spend thing, not just a money spend thing, you're going to be trapped with your units as to where you go with it. But is this more for like the super spenders? And that might be the case. Like if super spenders are spending $1,000 per new champion coming into game, they want to feel like they're at least guaranteeing themselves of getting it. For sure. Okay, prop up the game financially. Thank you for doing that. You know, that keeps us as a community together, keeps the game running, all that stuff. Netmarble get their fair share of things, and then we kind of go, why aren't Kabam getting any resource? So, that's obviously a great point right there. If we go a bit more into it, because there's a bit more to kind of like explain with it for those that want to take part in it. And it's tough. It is tough. As we said, there's the extent of to spend to get back. Like, I'm non-spending, I'm staying non-spending, but you have to look at it from a point of view of how many units deep do you want to go into this. If you've got endgame content like Epoch of Pain, are you really spending your units on that? Like, I've just topped up. Like, I took a bit of a break from kind of like grinding certain things. I don't have the time. I've got some other stuff that I'm kind of working on at the moment, other endeavors. So I haven't had time to go back into Necropolis. Now, I did save up. I've nearly got a further 1,000 units than the last time I kind of went into stuff. And that's just by a little bit of arena farming here and there when I'm out for a walk or doing other things. And that's great, but I will need those units for Epoch of Pain. I thought I'd be using those units for the Necropolis runs, my final 2 Necropolis runs that I need to do to get my tier 7 basic. However, I think that those units, I'll just top them back up again and try and do this Epoch of Pain thing. It's probably going to pee me off, but a lot of stuff when it comes to grinding in game does pee me off. And it's what it is. But those 9,000 units could be instead used in a different way. Like here. As we see here. I'll help out, is a red circle. And you can follow along, children. 10 times crystals, 3,000. So 30, as we know, is, that's right, 9,000 units. So 9,000 units grace. So effectively I'm spending 9,000 units to guarantee myself a 7-star. If you've got some of these 7 stars, you don't need to do it. If you're desperate for those 7 stars, you might consider it. Would I recommend it? Well, probably not. Especially because those units you could actually get the same. You could get, look at it this way. If you want a 7-star, 9,000 units for a 7-star, ask the question, is that worth it to you? And you'll have an answer based on that and the investment, because that's obviously going down to like a, as we said, it's always a personal preference on it. And what does it say here? It says these crystals. I'll get this better into shot, but these crystals have a chance to award us a 5 to 7-star, Luke Cage, blah blah blah, champion progress towards each guarantee will carry over between. Featured blah 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 blah. It actually cuts out like all the info, but yeah, it's kind of gives the indication you've got to like do a little. It seems like a little bit less. I don't know if that's the case, because it's like guarantee a 7-star Luke Cage within 171 crystals, guarantee a 7-star champion within 11 crystals. So that seems a bit more excessive, and it depends on the type of crystal being opened. If it is a, because it said that it was 30, didn't it? Right here, like if you go through the featured Valiant crystal route, it's 30 crystals. So I don't know whether 11 crystals, 11 crystals for 7-star. Sorry. So I guess it just depends on where that info a moment ago was taken from. Like, was it taken from the featured Valiant crystal? Was it taken for the not the featured Valiant, but kind of like the lesser one, like a Cavalier, not Cavalier crystal, but a whatever it's called. I can't think of what it is called. It's not Cavalier crystal. It's a Paragon crystal, for example. Not a Valiant one, because obviously I'm Valiant, and other people get Paragon ones. But yeah, there's a spicy change to stuff. Whether or not you're going for a Nova, a Hood, or Luke Cage. There's some options available for each of you. And the crystal itself is on the featured Paragon crystal. It's 60 crystals for a 7-star and 10 crystals to get a 6-star, and it's expanded to Cavalier, which is nice. And what else? Well, 3 separate featured releases. There you can see there, featured Valiant and featured Paragon crystals. For featured Valiant, every 30 crystals without 7-star is now a guaranteed 7-star. So that is, yeah, that's a bit different, isn't it? What is that a bit different? Guarantee a 7-star champion. Oh, it's guarantee a 7-star champion. Well, not a Luke Cage, then. You have to spend a lot more. So it's 100. Oh, God, that's even worse then. I got my calculations wrong then. With that, if we're talking 171 crystals, oh my, we're gonna have to. Really? So if it's 171 to get a Luke Cage, 171 times 300. No, thank you. No, thank you. That's excessive, man. That is so excessive. But it's also interesting that the count carries over between crystals. Like, I guess the question would be, if you had access, if free to play had access to them. I mean, for I don't want to talk about super spending, because let's face it, is there going to be a free to play player that says 51,000 units, no problem, I'm going to spend it just on that? I'd said not many to, like, there must be like one person that might say I'm going to spend 51,000 units on that. 200 count for featured champion in 7-star. Wow, okay, it's a lot more. That is excessive. 200 count. So where's that 171? Where's that 171 coming in? 200 count for featured champion in 7-star. Again, do not know where it's like what the 171 is, like there, or maybe this has been recorded in that the 29 crystals have been opened already on this account, based on where this snippet of a clip is from. Anyway, that's gonna be really. My thoughts on this is like, is it a bit too late? Yeah, of course it is. Is this helpful for super spenders? Of course it is. Who's going to excessively spend that many units to get that? I could not find. I probably wouldn't be able to find anybody that would do that. But there might be some people crazy enough to kind of guard it, especially if there's. I just actually had a quick look over to the chat, and it was like, it just says, someone says Wales. There we go. Yeah. Anyway, spend if you want to spend, but I don't know if I see a lot of value in this. It's just something I think to acquire new champions, help out, not help out, but kind of cushion the blow for super spenders. And that's it. But what's everyone's thoughts? Thoughts in the comments, and thoughts that thread. Wow, crazy. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.